Welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to Gaming and back to Bath. As of time of recording, I'm still here, and I don't know, it's very difficult to not show this city off. I don't live here, it's not like I've got some pride associated with it, but I do find it quite beautiful. It's a stunning location. If I had all the money, I would live here, but with my family, of course. But it's one of the most expensive places in the south. And while I don't live far away, I couldn't afford to live in the centre of Bath, sadly. It's just unusual in the UK to find a place where everything is made of the same material. I know that sounds pretty minor, but when every building looks the same in aesthetic, it's quite pleasing, it's quite beautiful. You get it a lot in the Mediterranean, but not much in the UK. Anyway, what's the point of this video? Self-promotion. I don't do it that often, or I don't ask for money often, or not often enough probably, and I'm not asking for money now because none of the money you pay as a result of this video is going to come to me. It will go to companies that have paid me to release books, but I like drawing attention to work that I've done, and I like it when people review work that I've done, even if it's critical reviews. If you happen to read, play with, or even just glance at some of the books that I mention in this video, I very, very much appreciate ratings and reviews on DriveThruRPG, hugely appreciate it. But you know what I'd appreciate even more, something I've not seen, would be a video review of any of the books I've worked on. Given that that's how I started out, I'd love to see someone else give it a try. So I'm just going to talk about some of my releases that have come out in the last few months, and I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. I don't have anything to remember these other than barely remembering what's come out in the last few months, but there's been several. I think the most recent as of time of recording is Demon the Descent, Enemy Action. And Demon the Descent is a game of technostic horror. You're playing demons, as the name implies, who have broken free from the god machine. Angels are its automaton-like servants, and demons are the angels that got a clue and broke free, to put it very simply. Now, Enemy Action is a night horrors book, and night horrors are effectively the bestiaries or monster manuals for Chronicles of Darkness. It's a book that contains a ton of antagonists and story hooks attached that will allow you to use them in your games and inspire you to come up with chronicles with these characters in, or you can just populate your city with these characters. It's absolutely fine. And I wrote a couple of angels for it. Nasty pieces of work by the name of Summer Hopkins and Unwashed Isaac, and I won't ruin everything to do with them, except Summer Hopkins is a suicide crisis hotline worker who tends to target some of the people who call in. I use a bit of my experience when I used to work on a suicide crisis helpline to write that character rather morbidly. And Unwashed Isaac is a big heavy hitter of an angel. Nasty piece of work. Well, not nasty, very pragmatic. If someone ever witnesses infrastructure, the god machine at work, he will probably clean you up. He is a cleaner. His role as an angel is to ensure the god machine is never exposed, especially its split seams through which contagion leaks, because Unwashed Isaac is linked to the Contagion Chronicle. So, what else has come out recently? Well, I know I've mentioned it quite a lot, but there's Beckett's Jyhad Diary. Beckett's Jyhad Diary is Vampire the Masquerade metaplot book writ large. If I have already written and co-developed my opus, it would be this book, because it's one of the biggest source books we've ever released. It covers Vampire the Masquerade in inordinate detail, huge detail, and you don't need to know anything about the metaplot to get it. It allows the metaplot to be accessible. It allows you as the storyteller or the player to use the lore from Vampire the Masquerade finally without having to have read hundreds of books, and that's something quite special, I think, because it was always a barrier to entry for some people, and Beckett's kind of pushes you past that point. I'm very proud of the work we put in there. It handles all kinds of subject matter, from Cappadocians to Salubri to Baba Yaga to Tzimisce under New York, but it's also got personal horror bits as well. I think it's got something for everyone, and I don't know, I am incredibly proud of Beckett's Jyhad Diary. It's got a lot of good reviews already, but I've not seen any on YouTube, so if you're up for the challenge, I would love to hear your thoughts or see your thoughts on Beckett's, even if they're critical. We also have the Pentax Employee Indoctrination Handbook. And this is a book written almost entirely in character. It's a book for Pentax employees, new employees, who need to know what the company is up to. And it's got into the hands of werewolves. So this is a book that can be used as a treasure trove of lore, just as Beckett's Jyhad diary can do. You can print out pages from that book and use them as treasure pieces or lore pieces or artifacts for your games. Pentax book is much the same. It's a guide to what Pentax is up to, what its subsidiaries are up to. You have different employee handbooks for different subsidiaries. I wrote Endron and Magadon and the Guide to Werewolves, which ties into my videos with the same name. And that's out now, and it's very low price too. It's a fun book, but it's an evil book. I recommend it, but it's quite dark. So for Vampire the Requiem, we have Half Damned, which deals with ghouls and Dhampir and other such creatures. Half-damned creatures, as the name implies, and rereading some of my material in that, I've realised I must have been in a dark place when I worked on it, because it's pretty pretty nasty in places. I wrote some of the ghoul families for Requiem and some of the rules associated with the different types of ghoul, and I particularly like mnemonic ghouls who inject vampire blood into each other, and they gain the memories of the vampires that they are taking the vitae from, which is quite fun. We also have 1,000 Years of Night. 1,000 Years of Night is a Requiem book for elders. No longer do you have to retire a character because they've got so powerful, and there are no chronicles for characters of that age. With 1,000 Years of Night, and it works for Masquerade as well, it gives a ton of hooks, including flashback chronicle advice for playing a vampire of age that isn't just built around you being an anachronism, or you forgetting everything, or you just being old and dusty. This is a book that makes elders fun and playable. And if that's something you've always wanted to do, actually playing powerful vampires and having a reason for them to get out of their coffin every night, I recommend you check it out. Hopefully at time of recording or time of publishing, Pan's Guide for New Pioneers will be out as well. That's an introductory adventure I developed and co-wrote for Pugmire. And it's a fantasy game. Pan's Guide is an introductory adventure, but it's good for established role players as much as it is for new ones. And the point behind it is, well, I wanted it to be laid out in a way that was easy for any GM of any experience level to follow. That's simple. I also wanted a choose your own adventure element, which is on YouTube, that will teach you how to play the game. And hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, those videos will be up. They're already recorded, they just need to be uploaded in sequence, and they'll be on the Onyx Paths channel. They'll be linked in the book when it's available to buy. I took inspiration, personally, I proposed all this, that as with many board game companies, you can learn how to play a board game by checking them out on YouTube. I thought, why not do the same thing for role-playing games? Let's teach people how to role-play through YouTube. And so Pan's Guide is a way of learning the system for Pugmire through YouTube, and it has a full chronicle adventure within. So you get 2 games for your money. You can learn the system either by playing it from the book or by playing it on YouTube, which gives you the brief version of the system and introduces you to the setting. It was a bit of an innovative book. We had a lot of ambition with it, threw a lot of ideas at the wall. And the one thing I don't want with Pan's Guide is for people to just think, it's just a published adventure. For me, this is a bit of an experiment, and I will be interested to see how it's received, if it's received. So you're watching this video, therefore, as I don't think it's going to cost very much, please check it out. It would be hugely appreciated if you did. It's also suitable for children, I should add, if you want your children to get into role-playing, and they're not already. Moving away from Onyx Path briefly, I've been working on Modern Age, which will be out soon. Modern Age is a contemporary, as the name implies, role-playing game by Green Ronin Publishing, in which you play members of conspiracies and corporations. There's some psychics bouncing around in there as well. It's using the age system, popularised in Fantasy Age, Dragon Age and the like, and it's a system I am very much fond of. I really enjoy the age system. And I can't tell you much about Modern Age because it hasn't been released yet, and I don't know how much is still under NDA.
But if you want to play a different game that isn't purely based around horror or sci-fi, but can be anything in a modern setting, then I recommend giving it a look. And I know that as it wasn't just me working on it, I can speak for the other writers' quality as well. It's a really well written book, and I've just finished writing for the Modern Age Companion too, and I'm really pleased with how these two work as a pair. It's a game that really emphasises relationships and the strengths of relationships between your party members and with NPCs. You build big networks and the like, and it's quite nice from a sort of almost Crusader Kings way of building not lineage but your contacts, your alliances and so on. I enjoy that in an RPG. So again, if you want something a little different, check out Modern Age and leave a review. I would hugely appreciate it, as I keep saying. So, have I forgotten anything? Well, things to look out for that I've worked on, and I'll no doubt mention these again in a future video. Things to look out for in the near future. I wrote a decent part of the Promethean, the Created Night Horrors book as well, and I may even be more proud of the material in that than I am for Demon, but I enjoyed them both, and I like them both very much. Other games that will come out soon that I've worked on, Well, hopefully V5 won't be that far along, because I've been working on that since last year and I've been enjoying that a great deal. But I think I'll leave you with that, because that's quite a lot of books and I don't imagine you'll buy them all. But final one, Wraith the Oblivion 20th anniversary, and Changeling the Dreaming 20th anniversary, because I worked on both of those books, and hopefully Wraith will be out soon to buy for everyone, and Changeling definitely already is. So if you love your bumper books, big celebrations of previous editions, but also a renewal, moving on, expanding the game, making it more current, making it more relevant, making it more playable, check out those 20th anniversaries. If you wrote off Changeling before because you thought it was light and full of whimsy, read the 20th anniversary edition and see how tragic a horror game it is. If you thought Wraith was unplayable, well, you've not played many indie games out these days, because to me, Wraith was pioneering, and we really hammer home how playable it is in the 20th anniversary edition. I'm very proud of it, and they are both beautiful books. The art is stunning in both. So that's me done. I realise this is it's not that long compared to old videos, but it is just me telling you to please check out my stuff. The links are down below. If you do, again, please rate, please review, and if you can do a YouTube review, I will love you forever. Thank you very much for watching.